Hello everyone and welcome back. If this is your first time joining the videos, my name is Judith Brusson and I teach at the Howard High School. I am also the content demonstration teacher for secondary grades ESOL. So, today I will continue with vocabulary instruction, especially using context clues. My ultimate objective for today is to help you and me put into place strategies that will help our students learn in an engaging way. Let's begin. So, as I have mentioned before, we're going to continue with vocabulary learning. Now, why am I putting so much emphasis on teaching vocabulary to our students? Well, we all know that in order for them to communicate orally or in writing, they need to know new words. That's it. Okay, when you cannot say something, it's because you cannot remember the word that goes with it. So that's one of the main reasons. The other reason that is extremely important is reading comprehension. Our students need new words so that they can actually understand what they are reading. Okay, so once again, I have mentioned this before and I'm just going to say it again. We need to be purposeful when we are teaching vocabulary, but not only that, we also have to do careful planning. Okay, it just doesn't happen out of the blue on a whim. You know, you can be able to wing it maybe, but definitely planning is of the utmost importance here. So it brings us to our topic for today, context clues. Okay, so vocabulary. Now, one of the main things that we could use when we are going to teach vocabulary and context clues is we can actually tap into our students' prior knowledge. This is when we use their primary native language to help them with new words. And I am not talking here about translating. Many of you know that I am totally not against, but I don't think that we should translate everything for our students. As a English learner myself, I can tell you that it doesn't work. It is better for the students to learn the new language in the new language, which means teach them in English. However, I do use translation once in a while. Most of the time I don't provide it. I allow them to think about it so they can give me the meaning of the new word that they are learning based on different strategies that we are going to look at today during this lesson. So again, we are not talking about translating, okay? But do remember that whatever the student brings to your classroom is very powerful in helping them with their learning of a new language, of new words, even for our native kids, okay? Um, uh, Background knowledge is tremendous, is very helpful for new vocabulary learning or new things that they have to learn anyways. So don't forget that. The more education the student has in their native language, the easier it's going to be for them to transfer that information and use it in the English language. So once again, relevancy, very important, and be intentional when you are teaching new words. Doesn't happen by chance. Okay, so Cognates is one of the many ways that we can use to teach new words to our students. And we're going to look into this in a little while. But this is very useful, especially when you are teaching to students that use the same alphabet as we use. So it doesn't work for everyone, unfortunately. Although we do have some words that have the are root in our own words. So it might work that way, but there are other languages that it really doesn't work. But for the majority of our students, cognates are a very good resource for them to use when they are learning new languages. So do remember that, but be careful, because there are some words that seem like they are cognates, but they are not. And it could be a horror in your quest of teaching your students. So I truly say, because one is incident is coming to mind, do be careful with cognates. Check them out before you actually implement them in your class. And always remember that not every single word has the same meaning in both languages. Okay? We're going to jump right into strategy 1. Okay, so let's see if I can do a good job at helping you with this today. So strategy 1 is ask questions. Okay, so as you know, last week one of my lessons was prefixes, and I posted the lesson, so maybe you saw the video, maybe not, but anyways, one of the words, so one of the prefixes was M, I-M, and the word that I displayed for the students when I was explaining how they can be antonyms and synonyms, which is another lesson that I taught last week, and also another video that I created for us. So the first word that I presented them was the word mortal. Okay, so mortal is a cognate. So that brings me back to cognates. Sometimes knowing how important this is, especially if my students are newcomers or very low beginners, like I have this year, I have low beginners. Actually, I have somewhat of a mixed class, but anyways, for the most part, they're low beginners. So I try to find cognates that I know will help them understand the concept. So I found this one for the prefix I-M. So what I did when I presented the word to them, I said, so mortal, what is it? Of course, I asked them for the meaning, and all of them just went like, show their shoulders, because they're not really thinking, they're just there. So I just kept, asking them, and I said, okay, so how about we think, or we try to read this word in Spanish, because that class was, all of them spoke Spanish. I cannot use it for every class, but some classes I can. So after a little while, they're just there, they're thinking. You can see that their minds are going, moving. One of them said, "Oh," and they told me the pronunciation in Spanish, mortal. And I said, "Great. So what does it mean?" So another one said the meaning of the word. I said, oh, yeah, it's a person. It means that we are all going to die one day. So we are alive and we will die one day. That's what it means, mortal. So, we went through that question and answer activity for them to come up with the meaning of this word, so that they knew the actual one of the many meanings, definitions of the word mortal. So after that, then it was easier for me to introduce the prefix "im", and then when we changed the word to immortal, then it was easier for them to understand the meaning of the word immortal. So as you see, context clues with questioning, answering, and question and answers are very useful in the ESOL classroom. If I don't have students that are if I have students that do not speak Spanish or French or Italian, then maybe I will present them with something else, which is coming. Okay, so second strategy. Okay, so if my student didn't know, couldn't use that, if I couldn't use that as a cognate for my students to learn the meaning of the word, then I will go ahead and use visuals. Okay, so visuals are really important for our students. It's one of my many crutches, I will say. And that's one of the reasons that I love technology, because I can present any visual that I need for my students to be able to understand exactly what I'm talking about. Now, I just want to say something about visuals, okay? So please do be careful with them. I will say try to use real life photography for the visuals. My, you know, create them. It's very easy to take pictures, okay? So that you don't get into that issue of copyright and all of that. But try to make it real so that the student knows exactly what's going on. So for example, this is one of the visuals that I use when I'm teaching settings. So we all know what this action means. I think it's like a universal action that we have for time. So when I'm teaching settings, I do this for my students so that they understand that it has to do with time. And then, of course, place is a little more difficult, but I can do this again with question and answers, okay? I can ask them, where are we? School. So this is a place. So I just, so a little narrow it down to the classroom, to sitting down. So that is a good way for us to teach also context clues by using visuals. Now, remember again, try to use real life photography, which is going to actually show our students exactly what the thing is in real life, not little cartoons or clip art. That was actually strategy number 3. Use real life photography when you are going to use any type of visuals in your classes so that the students know what it really is in real life. Okay, so strategy number 4, body language. I think that we have all used this one at one point or another, if not every single day. Okay, so when I am trying to teach my students a new word, I try to see if I can mimic their motions or do some sort of action, and they actually love that. It makes them laugh, it makes them be a little more engaged, and it's just a fun way to teach our students new words via context clues by just acting them out for you. Another one that it goes very much related to this one is facial expression. So if I am, like last week, I think I was actually teaching them something that was sad, right? So I would just, like sad. Oh, I remember. So with the prefixes, the on prefix un, so I had one that was happy, and I had a little dog that was wagging his tail and all of that. And so the students automatically said happy, happy. So then I had another little dog that was really sad. So they couldn't quite get it. So I would just and then they actually got it, and they said unhappy. So facial expressions and body language, wonderful tool and wonderful strategy to teach new words in context. Number 5, synonyms and antonyms, and we already talked about this before. So just remember that this is also a great one to use with our students, and this one can be used actually in their reading. So usually what I do is I present something like this. So I present the vocabulary word, and then in context, I present a cognate that they can use to know the meaning of that word. So my dog is overweight. Very few beginners will probably know the word overweight. So it is very obese, and obese is a cognate for the word from the word in Spanish. So it's a wonderful way for them to know how to find the meaning of the word using context clues when you use it this way with synonyms and antonyms. Okay, so then we're going to go to some activities. I have 5 activities, and I did not come up with them. I want to use this disclaimer. I found these activities. I have been using them for a while, but I actually found them in source that is called Lexia, and it is by Rosetta Stone, which we use frequently. So one of the main activities that I really like is, let's see, okay, here we go. Sentence search. So how does this work? Remember, you have the video, so you will have this there to help you out with that. But anyway, display related sentences with blank for missing, but not unfamiliar words. So there's some examples right here. For example, Raymond is the youngest blank in his family. I'll probably even put a picture there with different brothers, and I will probably point to, the youngest, so that they know exactly what I'm talking about. So I will combine more than one strategy in order to help them with the meaning of the word youngest and sibling. Okay, so strategy number 2: silly sentences. So write a sentence that contain a fun made-up word, and then try to get them to guess which word should go there. They loved this, and I'm sure that I think that we have all used it at one point or another. But anyway, silly sentences is a wonderful activity that our students actually love. Okay, activity number 3 is charted. Okay, so I used this one this week, and I think I made a video about it, or about the bubble words. So just a little bit different. So you put the context clues and then antonym, opposites, direct definition, so that they can actually make a chart or a map of the word that they are trying to learn. So strategy number 4, partner practice. Something that we use quite often in the ESOL classroom. It's a little bit more difficult this year because of COVID-19 and distancing and social distancing and all of that, but still we can still do a little bit of this. I have actually done it even with social distancing. Just know that this is another wonderful opportunity for our students to practice unfamiliar words that they are learning after you have taught them the pronunciation for the words. And we have arrived at our last strategy, which is strategy swap. Okay, so the word says it all. Okay, there's some explanations right there. For example, using prefixes and suffixes, and again antonyms and synonyms, and all of those things. Combining also strategies is part of this. So here are some examples. I will make sure that I upload these activities individually, outside the video, so that you can print them if you need to. But that will have brought us to the end of today's lesson. And I want to say thank you for watching. And I hope that these videos are being useful to you and your students. And please remember to shoot me an email if you have any suggestions, any comments, any ideas, or anything else that you would like to see in these videos. Thank you, and have a wonderful week of teaching and learning.